Hey folks, Mal here. It's January 22nd of 2016, and in this video I'm going to cover my XCOM 2 plans. Additionally, we'll check out some exciting news about XCOM 2, specifically regarding some mods and some announcements about that. So strap in and get ready to hear about how we're going to smash more alien faces.
You once knew is no more. Earth is now ruled by the Advent Coalition and their alien masters. For decades, we have operated in the shadows. Now that we have recovered our greatest weapon, the time has come to reclaim our world. Rebuild the Xcom project, expose the aliens' true agenda, and renew humanity's will to fight.
Alright, well let's start off with a bit of exciting XCOM 2 modding news. So Firaxis has hired the Long War team. Yeah, they've made a very smart move partnering with Long War Studios to craft some mods for XCOM 2, and we can only hope, at least it's my hope, that this means we'll actually be getting a Long War 2 on top of the XCOM 2 engine. Oh, my dreams would come true if that's what happens. Looks like that's what they're setting the stage for. But here's the official statement, and it reads as, "We are happy to announce Long War Studios, the developers behind the Long War Total Conversion mod for XCOM Enemy Unknown and Enemy Within, has partnered with Firaxis Games in 2K for XCOM 2. The Long War Studios team, which comprises of John Lumpkin, Rachel Norman, James Carlson, is currently hard at work on multiple mods for XCOM 2. These mods are currently slated to be available at launch on February 5th of 2016, and we'll have more information about the content of these mods soon." And then it goes on to say that they're going to be doing they're going to host a panel at PAX South, and if you're not available, if you're not there or whatever, most of us won't be, unfortunately, but they are going to stream it. So Twitch TV/PAX, and it looks like it's going to be on January 30th, 12:30 p.m. Central. I will try to tune into that and kind of get the highlights. I might do a follow-up video specifically about this because I'm so excited about it. And yeah, I mean, this is my dream, was that we get XCOM 2 and we would get Long War or some version of it on top of it. Just awesome. Now let's move in a little bit to though my plans for XCOM 2, because I'll need to address things like whether or not I'll be using mods and all of that. So let's get to that. So first things first, it's a bit surprising to me that I even get the question, and it keeps popping up. Hey Mal, are you going to play XCOM 2? Well, of course I am. But let's talk specifically about what I'm going to do. First, let's talk about the story element. My current Long War Season 2 is going to serve as canon for the first XCOM 2 Let's Play. Well, Mal, what the heck does that mean? Well, okay, first off, if you're not familiar with what XCOM 2's setting is, it assumes that you lost the war. So even though I do believe I will actually win my Season 2 Long War campaign, there'll at least be an optional episode there at the end where I'm going to show us losing for the purposes of the story. Because in XCOM 2, it takes up 20 years after the first conflict, where XCOM is really more of sort of a guerrilla ragtag force, and we're trying to expose the Advent alien-backed government. Which is really super cool. I like it a lot. I think it's interesting. So the new campaign is going to feature many of the iconic soldiers from the Long War campaign, soldiers that you've come to know and admire. And I'll be doing some spotlight soldier dossiers for some of these soldiers over the next few weeks, and this will give you additional background story, and I'm partnering with those subscribers actually to write that story, sort of their training and history and where they served and what conflicts and what have you, and then also maybe what happened in that 20-year span. And so I'm collaborating with members of the community to do that, which I think is really cool. So you'll be looking for that. Hopefully, you'll find that interesting and enjoyable. I really love the story part of it. These characters, and I really do believe this as I'm playing them, especially when a subscriber, a member of the community has invested a lot in that soldier. I feel like it's very much a collaborative experience. And so if something happens to them or what have you, and that's the great thing about XCOM, right, is that you really feel attached to these soldiers. And I think these additional sort of intertwined story elements tying my Long War campaign into XCOM 2 is just going to enhance that. So it'll give us the really high highs and then, potentially some, really low lows if somebody gets killed. But I'm going to try to keep everybody alive. So let's talk about campaign settings. I'll be doing my first run of XCOM 2 with no mods. Now, I know that they announced those mods and there might be some really cool stuff, but I'm going to hold off. I did not get, unfortunately, I was not able to secure a press release, so I did not get any hands-on time with XCOM 2 yet. So I really want to have sort of a fresh experience. So I'm going to start XCOM 2 with no mods on Legend difficulty. And as I understand it, Legend's the hardest difficulty that XCOM 2 offers, and according to the designers, it's somewhere between XCOM EW's Classic and Impossible difficulties. I think the statement was they felt like you had to almost break the game to beat Impossible, and they didn't want it to be that way, so they made some changes. So I'm thinking it's roughly like brutal setting on Long War, and considering that, again, I have zero on-hands time with XCOM 2 yet, I think that should provide plenty of challenge. So, it's what's available, and I'll start on that, and we'll see how well that goes. I will not, however, be playing blind, with the exception of the story itself. I've been actively reading up about everything that I'm able to regarding XCOM 2, so feel free to comment and provide advice as much as possible, but please don't put anything story related in the comments of this video, or actually even once I start the XCOM 2 campaign. Please don't put any story related spoilers, that not only for me but for other people that are maybe experiencing the game for the first time. Let's hold off on that kind of stuff. But advice about what buildings to put in first, what character types we should prioritize, suggestions about how to build the soldiers, the various types of builds, what trees make the most sense, all that stuff, equipment, what have you. If you've got advice and ideas about that, please share them with myself and the rest of the community. I welcome that. All right, and then I think the last big thing that I wanted to address in this video, because this comes up a lot too, which is, are you going to accept names? What's that process going to look like? Well, it's the whole join us or die with them. So I absolutely am going to accept people into the campaign, and I'm going to do it very similarly to the way that I did it for my second season of Long War. So, will I be taking the names? Short answer is absolutely yes, and there'll be a video specifically for this. You'll see an announcement come up and that video will contain a link. I'm going to be using another, probably a Google form. Again, that seems to work really well for handling all of your requests, and it allows me to sort the list and kind of follow up and make sure that I'm adding as many people as I can. Now, I do want you to, however, bear in mind a couple of things. One, I'm not going to put every customization option on the form. I actually made a huge list of the various customizations, and at least initially, there's just too many, and there's going to be more that are even going to be added. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave places for you to define how you want your soldiers to look, but bear in mind the following. I'm going to keep the game campaign to a tactical feel, so I will not be using bright colors on the soldiers' armor or guns. But since it's a ragtag group, extreme haircuts and hair colors and cigars and glasses and all that kind of stuff, all those kinds of elements will certainly be welcome. But the actual armor and weapons themselves, I'm going to try to keep things, like I said, very tactical. Also, longtime supporters, community members, Patreon backers, people that currently have iconic characters from the Long War series, they will be placed into the campaign first, and I want to be upfront about that. For Long War Season 2, I have over 400 people that have signed up. I've honored about 100 so far. I've done it, and I will continue to honor as many requests as possible. But again, the longtime supporters, my Patreon backers, and iconic characters, they will be added to the character pool for the new campaign first. And I hope everybody understands and is cool with that. I'll add as many additional people to the campaign as I can, based on when your requests were logged and the thought process behind the soldier, like if I think it's interesting and so on. Because with as many requests as I believe that I will get to be added, someone that puts a really, quite frankly, a dumb name and doesn't have a cool bio or whatever, why there wouldn't be much reason for me to try to honor that kind of a request. But people that are thoughtful and have, kind of cool character ideas and whatnot, of course I'm going to try to add them. So be looking for the soldier dossiers. Those will be coming out soon. Be looking for the Join Us or Die With Them video, which will be the official announcement, and we'll have the link to the forum to sign up for the new campaign. I hope that you're as excited about XCOM 2 as I am. And until next time, I am Mal, and I will see you later.